The forest always carried a hum, a low, constant murmur of leaves brushing against each other, of distant water threading through stones, of hidden creatures whispering small movements into the ground. But beneath it all existed a deeper silence, a silence that seemed to widen whenever the tiger stepped into the lightless corridors of the jungle. It was not afraid of him. It simply knew it had no choice but to hold its breath as he passed. He was not the biggest creature in the forest. Not the loudest. Not the strongest. Yet every movement he made seemed carved out of intent, as if each step had been weighed, considered, tested against the world before being allowed to exist. He did not rush. He did not blunder. He walked as though the earth itself was fragile glass and he alone understood how to keep it from shattering. Tonight, the air felt different around him, thicker, close, loaded with the metallic scent of coming rain. Clouds pressed low over the treetops, and the dim haze pushed the forest into deeper shadow. The tiger halted at the river's edge, lowering his head near the surface. The water trembled slightly, not from the wind, but from vibrations moving through the ground. Something big was traveling not far off. Something that had pushed the forest out of rhythm. A herd. Fast. Uncertain. Afraid. He didn't chase. He didn't stalk. Instead, he sank to the ground and let the tension settle into the earth beneath him. The river exhaled mist. A frog leapt quietly into the reeds. The tiger remained utterly still. Not passive, purposefully still, listening in a way few creatures ever learned to do. Far off, branches cracked under hooves. Birds startled upward, scattering their voices. But beyond that, he sensed something else. Something quieter. Something hiding within the herd's noise, moving differently, breathing differently. A predator. Not him. Another. He lifted his head slowly, his ears turning toward the sound as though guided by invisible threads. Precision, not power, began shaping his entire body. Muscles shifted, tightening in anticipation, not for attack, but for understanding. The scent of the other predator drifted through the air. Sharp, cold, unfamiliar. Not from this part of the forest. A creature displaced, perhaps. Or desperate. The tiger rose. Not quickly. With the patient certainty of one who knew timing mattered more than force. He moved through the underbrush without bending a single leaf, letting the forest fold around him, letting shadow swallow him until he became part of it. As he approached the clearing, he did not pounce or growl. He watched. A lone deer stood separated from the herd, injured, trembling, too weak to join the frantic stampede. But it was not the deer that held the tiger's gaze. It was the shape behind it, slinking through the brush with uneven steps. A gaunt, restless leopard, ribs visible beneath its spotted coat, eyes wild with hunger. The leopard's movements were frantic, unsteady, overly charged. It lunged at shadows that weren't there, swung its head sharply as if fighting voices or fears invisible to others. It had forgotten the forest's rhythm. It had forgotten the art of patience. It wanted the deer, yes, but more than that, it wanted an end to its own desperation. The tiger stayed hidden, watching the leopard's clumsy attempt at a kill that required calm precision. Watching the deer stagger away because the leopard's angry recklessness had frightened it into alertness. The leopard hissed in frustration, swiping at the ground. Its movements had no thought behind them, only instinct gone wild. It paced, back arched with panic, unsure whether it hunted or fled. It could not hear its own heartbeat over the static of its fear. The tiger lowered himself further. Again, he waited. A branch snapped behind him. Another deer, unaware of his presence, fled through the thicket. The leopard spun toward the sound, muscles jerking in a feverish attempt to recover from failure. It dashed toward the noise, crashing through bushes, claws scraping bark. And the clearing emptied. The tiger finally stepped forward. He walked to the center, paused, then inspected the tracks left by the fleeing animals. His eyes narrowed slightly. The leopard was not simply hungry, it was unraveling, losing itself, making mistakes that would cost it its life if the forest took notice of its disorder. But the tiger did not give chase. Instead, he followed slowly, using the leopard's chaos as a map of its mind. Every crushed leaf, every broken stem, every reckless pawprint marked a creature who had never learned the power of silence. Rain began falling, soft at first, then steady enough to form silver sheets that blurred the forest's edges. The tiger's fur grew heavy, but he kept his pace even, controlled. Water dripping from the branches masked his steps, giving him additional cover. He found the leopard again near the old ravine, pacing dangerously close to the edge. Wind pushed through the gorge, producing a low, eerie moan that unsettled creatures unused to its voice. The leopard twitched with every gust, swinging its head side to side like a creature lost between instincts. Another deer stood across the ravine, unaware of the danger approaching on both sides. It grazed calmly, believing the storm's noise was too thick for predators to hunt tonight. The leopard crouched, tail lashing violently. The tiger watched, hidden beneath a wide palm leaf. The leopard lunged too soon. Its back paw slipped on wet soil. It skidded, claws scraping rock in a frantic attempt to regain balance. The deer bolted instantly. The leopard's momentum carried it toward the ravine's edge. The tiger surged forward, not with force, but with timing so exact it almost seemed premeditated. He slammed his shoulder into the leopard, redirecting its fall just enough to keep it from plunging to certain death. Both cats tumbled into the mud. The leopard thrashed wildly, mistaking the tiger for an attacker. It snapped its jaws, claws slicing at the air. Its panic drowned its reason. The tiger simply waited. Another swipe. Another snarl. Still, he waited. The leopard's energy burned out. It collapsed into the mud, chest heaving, eyes hollow. Rain washed over them, carrying away the remnants of their struggle. The tiger finally stood and stepped back, giving the leopard room to breathe. The leopard blinked slowly, disoriented. It realized then, for the first time, that the tiger was not trying to harm it. It looked away, ashamed of its violent impulses, its spiraling fear. The tiger turned from it, not with disdain, but with something quieter, recognition, perhaps, that the leopard had not been fighting the forest, but something inside itself. He continued into the deeper part of the jungle, where the rain softened and mist clung to the air like thin veils. Fireflies emerged, trembling their faint lights across the dark. Lightning flickered in the distance, illuminating the forest in brief silver flashes. He paused under an ancient tree, letting the world slow back into stillness. His heartbeat settled, grounding him again in silence. Everything felt clearer in this stillness, the scent of moss, the hum of beetles beneath bark, the delicate tremor of an approaching animal. A wild boar stepped from behind a fallen trunk. Strong, heavy, confident. Its hooves sank into the wet soil with the assuredness of a creature used to pushing through obstacles instead of evading them. The tiger lowered into a crouch. Not because the boar was large, not because it was dangerous, but because he understood something the leopard had forgotten. Power alone did not win battles, precision did. He inhaled slowly, exhaled. waited. The boar moved closer, unaware. Still, he waited. When he struck, it was not with fury. It was not with raw force. It was a single, silent movement, perfectly timed, perfectly aimed, perfectly sure. The boar did not suffer. The forest barely noticed. The kill was clean, decisive, respectful of the balance that governed predator and prey. When the tiger lifted his head, rain had thinned into soft droplets that glimmered like tiny mirrors on his whiskers. Thunder rolled in the distance. Fireflies swirled around him, brushing light against the dark stripes along his back. But somewhere beyond the trees, he sensed a presence. Watching. Quiet. Measuring him the way he had measured the forest all night. He turned. The leopard stood on a distant rise, half hidden by shadow. Its gaze was no longer chaotic. It was steady, observing him the way a student observes a master. The tiger let the silence stretch between them until the leopard lowered its head, not in fear, but in understanding. Then it vanished into the trees. The forest returned to its hum, but the tiger felt something shifting inside its rhythm. Something colder. Something that told him this night was not over. He dragged the boar carcass beneath shelter, eating only what he needed, leaving the rest for smaller creatures. But his ears stayed alert. His breath stayed measured. He felt, watched again. Not by the leopard. By something older. Something that had moved silently, expertly, precisely enough to avoid detection until now. A pair of glowing eyes appeared between the trees, not threatening, but unsettling in a way he couldn't place. Too still. Too deliberate. They seemed to reflect not the forest, but him. He stepped forward. The eyes didn't move. He blinked, and they were gone. Only darkness remained, swallowing the place they had been. A chill passed through him, not from fear, but from the knowing that something else in the forest practiced precision too. Something he would eventually meet. The tiger lowered himself to the ground, but sleep did not come. The forest hummed. The rain softened. The fireflies returned. But his gaze stayed on the shadows, waiting, listening, certain that the night had just introduced a new presence, and this one, unlike the frantic leopard, understood the art of silence as well as he did. And the forest, once again, held its breath.